Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Argle Fumph. This is the schedule for my book review channel for January 2024. We're going to be reading American Girl books because I picked up this American Girl book set. $4 for all of the Molly American Girl books, which is a steal, man. I'm sure these are good. So that reminded me, I had not posted American Girl kit reviews. I only posted the first two reviews from that series. So this month I'll be posting the other American Girl kit reviews, books 3, 4, 5, and 6. That makes up the proper series. I've also read a bunch of spin-off books. Like there's a Choose Your Own Adventure book, there's a book starring Ruthie, there are 2 short stories that were published separately, and then a short story collection. There's a couple of historical books, like educational books about the 1930s. And so those will be going up like next month. This month, it's just the main American Girl kit series. And I did do a poll on my channel asking people what I should post. That was the winner. I also did a poll here on the YouTube asking what book to post. And people wanted Batman's Mystery Casebook. So that's going up on the 24th along with Hannah Swensen number 29. And that's the most recent book in the Hannah Swensen series. And it is awful. Oh my gosh, it is so awful. I know I've complained about these Hannah Swensen books a lot. But this one feels like a ghostwriter did it, and it was so bad that the original author had to step in and rewrite like a third of it. And it wasn't enough to save the book, but it made the book a little bit more tolerable. Oh, it was bad. The book was delayed for a month, so it does feel like there might have been some behind-the-scenes drama in terms of its production. Also going to be reading Nancy Drew Files books, so these are the next 4 Nancy Drew Files books. Let's Talk Terror. So this takes place on a TV show. There's somebody on the TV show who's been getting death threats. It sounds a lot like Stay Tuned for Danger, and it is. It is. So the cover spoils who the culprit is. Yeah, the culprit is the person who talks, the male character who talks about this location. So, spoilers, jeez. Book number 85, Sea of Suspicion. Oh yeah, this was okay. This was like a treasure hunting book in Key West. I remember there was like a Nancy Drew Girl Detective book, which is the exact same thing, treasure hunting book in Key West, but I still thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. Yeah, this was one of the books where like the culprit goes out of their way to try to kill Nancy and over again. That was odd. Oh, I'm reading these books backwards. I'm sorry. Number 84 happens, election. Yeah. I don't remember anything about this book besides it's an election book and somebody's selling like stolen TVs or something. I don't know. And then, this book, this is the important one. You'll want to watch my review for this because Nancy Drew Mystery of the 7 Keys is based on this book. It's based on this one, Diamond Deceit, where somebody, hopefully it doesn't have the same ending as this book, because I thought the ending of this book was a little silly. But somebody got their diamond necklace repaired, and then when it came back, the jewels were replaced with fakes, and Nancy has to investigate. Well, what happened to the fakes? So, what happened to the real ones? Who swapped out the fakes? Was it the jeweler who was supposed to do it? Was it the person who inspected it later and determined they were a fake? Was it an assistant at the store? And yeah. Pretty good, although the solution, I don't want to spoil it, but the solution ends up being that the villain was copying a movie. And it should have been very obvious because this victim was a movie star who was in a famous mystery movie about somebody whose jewels were stolen. And nobody thought to say, gee, this sounds exactly like the movie that she was involved in. I can't really buy that premise. I bought these books, Creepers books. They look like knockoff Goosebumps books. They were cheap, so that's why I bought them. And, we'll see if these are any good. I'll add them to my list of books to read, along with those American Girl Molly books. Oh yeah, also Babysitters Club. So, I'm told there's probably a new Babysitters Club graphic novel coming out this month. If I get it, I will try to review it as quickly as possible. Same thing if a Sweet Valley Twins graphic novel comes out this month, because I want to read and review those new books as quickly as possible. But if not, we're getting Babysitters Club Mystery 35, and then Super Special 15, which is last Super Special, and then I've got several bonus videos based on the Super Specials. I've got like a general recap of the Super Special series. I've got my listing of here are the best Super Specials, here are the worst Super Specials. Should I make a video which is just all 15 of my Super Special reviews together, like one of those big combination videos? I think I might. I'm not sure. I've been wondering what I should do with that, because it feels like it'd probably be smart if I made like every 10 books together, right? So this is just a compilation of books 1 through 10, and then books 11 through 20, and then books 21 through 30. I don't know what number I should use. Should it always be 10? How do I include the Super Specials in that? I know people like the mega compilation videos because you can just turn one on and just watch it forever. And then, let's see. At the end of the month, I'm going to read the next Warriors Cats book, which is Graystripe's Adventure. So it's the third Graystripe's Adventure book. I've got a bunch of bonus reviews, bonus videos too, because I've got one video which is all 3 of the Graystripe books together, and then one video which is just a recap of all 3 of the Graystripe books. They're not too long, they're pretty short mangas. I like them. And I'm also going to be reviewing Sammy Keyes number 13. I have not started reading that yet, so I've got that scheduled for the last day of the month. That way I give myself as much time as possible to read and review that one. Okay. So those are the books that I am going to be posting reviews for in January. Like I said, if graphic novels get released, that will change the schedule a little bit. Now here's the list of books that I did reviews for last month.
I mostly read books that my daughter picked out. That makes up the majority of the books I read in December. Oh, by the way, I have a new microphone. Can you tell I've got a new microphone? I hope it sounds good and doesn't sound weird. I'm a little worried about that. So I finished the Boxcar Children graphic novel series. Or at least I read like the remaining 5 or 6 that I could get my hands on. My library doesn't have all the books. There's like 4 or 5 of the Boxcar Children graphic novels I didn't read. But they're not good enough. They're not worth me hunting down, say, book number 17. Book number 17 it was missing. And then I moved on from that to The Adventures of Benny and Watch, which is another Boxcar Children series. This is for easy readers. So I read about half of the books in that series, and then I'll read the next half this month, January. Read them with my daughter, and then I don't know, maybe we'll move on to the main Boxcar Children series, or not. Who knows what she'll want to read next. She also wanted to read the Magic Treehouse series, so that's good. She's still interested in them, and those are good. They are way better than the Boxcar Children graphic novels. So Magic Treehouse number 4 is a really good one. It's great. The graphic novel has additional scenes with a pirate teaching a pirate how to read, so that's cool. Also read Batman vs. 3 Villains of Doom, which is based on 1960s Batman, and it's hilarious. It's good fun. If you like the 1960s show, like I do, you'll probably like the book. It's good times, and I tried to be extra silly in that review. I also read Lost Legends: The Fixer-Upper, which is a book based on Kristoff from Frozen, a story about him when he was younger, dealing with a bully, and after I had, 90% done with my review, I just went to the Frozen wiki to see, hey, is this bully in anything else? And it's actually in the graphic novel The Hero Within, which I reviewed 3 or so years ago. I totally forgot about it. So this book is just the exact same story as that graphic novel. I'd totally forgotten it, but yeah. So if you read the graphic novel recently, you probably won't like this book as much. They're the same basic story. I also read Warriors Power of 3 Outcast, which I thought was a very bad book. It was a sequel to Moonrise or Sunrise or whatever the name of that book was, and I didn't like the original book, so I didn't like this book, which tried to be a direct sequel to it. Yeah, you could cut out half the book and miss nothing. And the second half of the book is basically this clash between the tribe cats and the clan cats, and they're both complete idiots and jerks the whole time. Both groups are terrible, and they don't really listen to each other. I thought the ending was okay, but a bunch of people hated the ending, saying it's a non-ending. So, when that review gets up, I'll probably get a lot of angry comments because it's not a friendly review to the book. I read National Treasure #2. So that one's based on the American Revolution. And then #3 is up here, and that one's based on the Lewis and Clark expedition. And I thought #3 is more action-packed, whereas #2 is more focused on solving riddles and finding a treasure, and it's actually a bit more educational. So I like book #2 more than book #3, but I thought they're both great. Also finished the Dogman books. My daughter's a big fan of Dogman. So Grime and Punishment is #9. I didn't like this book. I thought it ruined Petey's grandpa character. So that's been, I mean, Grandpa's been a cool villain so far, but in this book he just becomes a parody of the Incredible Hulk. So he gets big muscles and goes, me angry, me mad, rah rah rah, me smash buildings. And I didn't like that. I liked him the way he was way better, because he had this emotional connection, because he is actually related to our main character, Petey. And just throwing that out the window for some Hulk jokes was a bad mistake, in my opinion. Mothering Heights was a good one. I liked it. When I did my review, I was surprised at how much of the book is just spent on a TV interview. Petey gives a TV interview. That takes up like a third to half of the book. This is the major story. And then 20,000 Fleas Under the Sea was actually a fun one. I like that one, although it was really hard to summarize to do that review. I thought it was a fun book, too. I read a Sophia the First book, Riches to Rags, which I liked. I liked the episode, and so I like this book based on the episode. Read a couple of random Frozen books. Frozen, Anna, Elsa, and the Secret River. It's a really different book. It's like a picture book, which is not... It's like it wasn't even supposed to be a Frozen book to begin with. I think people like it because it's very different, but I honestly could not get into it. I could not understand it at all. A Year with Anna and Elsa and Olaf 2 is a really strange book because it's like a chapter book. It was in the chapter book section. It's got the same page size as a chapter book, but it's actually a collection of short stories which were rewritten to look like scrapbook entries. It's strange, but yeah, it's sort of like a short story collection, and not really anything to do with Olaf. Sorry, Olaf. I like you, Olaf, but you're not a main character in this book. Wish the Magic of Dreams is a simple book, picture book based on Wish. It tells the story of the movie, leaves out like most of the story though, and it tells who all the characters are. There's Magic Treehouse #5, which I did not think was very good. I didn't like this one as much. I think I gave it like a 2 or a 3 out of 5. The graphic novel and the original book are the exact same story. Our heroes arrive in the treehouse. They get taken through a forest to meet the Ninja Master. Then they have to go back through the forest to the treehouse where they originally started. And that's it. I much preferred Afternoon on the Amazon, which was interesting. It was exciting, even though they didn't interact with any humans. It was still kind of exciting for them to go through the Amazon and meet a bunch of dangerous animals. Frozen Across the Sea. This is strange. There are 5 different versions of the book. I thought there was only 2 versions of the book. I thought there was the level 2 book and the level 1 book, but no, they've got 3 more versions of this book. So this is an extra long review because it tells the same story 5 times. I don't know why this is the Frozen book that gets 5 very separate editions. In one case, it's basically the same story. They just sort of change the color of the text and the pictures based on the layout of the page. But with all the others, they like completely rewrote the story. I thought it was odd that they thought the story was strong enough to write 5 times. Wish the Junior novelization is based on the Disney movie. It's just, it tries to be exactly like the movie. I was kind of hoping that would be better than the movie, that would explain the concept of wishes and stuff a bit more, but it does not, alas. For whatever reason, Her Secret Santa was on my list of books to read, so I read it. It's a romance novel, a Christmas romance novel about this guy who grants Christmas wishes, and he like instantly falls in love with this woman, and yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but I mean it's okay. It could be a Christmas movie, you know, one of those Hallmark Christmas movies. It's not that bad. And then, as I said, reading The Adventures of Benny and Watch, with my daughter. They're all quite short. You can see it takes like 2 minutes to summarize the books and give your thoughts on them, because they're only like 30 pages each. Now, as for writing, 1 Minute Mysteries 2 is complete. I finished writing it. So this month I'll be doing a bunch of revision and making sure all the puzzle solutions work and that sort of thing. I also wrote I wrote a little bit of the Hardy Boys meet the Phantom of the Opera, because I had an outline for the Phantom of the Opera, which I thought maybe I could turn it into a video game starring Detective Dupin from the Edgar Allan Poe series. But then I thought, no, let's change it to Sherlock Holmes. And it turns out there's like 3 or 4 books where Sherlock Holmes meets the Phantom of the Opera, so I'm like, fine, what about the Hardy Boys? So I just took the Hardy Boys, slapped them onto my outline for this Phantom of the Opera game, wrote like 5 or so pages, and then I learned that I can't have Aunt Gertrude in the story, because the Hardy Boys are public domain, but Aunt Gertrude is not. She's not in the original Hardy Boys trilogy, which made me very, very sad. So I kind of gave up on that. And then I wrote more of the superhero game, which I think I've mentioned several months ago. So I've got the first 2 pathways of the superhero game written. I'm trying to finish the last 2 pathways of the superhero game. I also wrote, I don't know if I'll ever finish this, but I had the idea to write a Pride and Prejudice variation where Mr. Darcy has autism, but it's undiagnosed because it's the early 1820s and they didn't really know about it back then. So I wrote like 17 pages of that, like 2.5 chapters, mostly dealing with him as a young man, like 15 years old, dealing with Andover, and then his parents die and he has to also add the twist that he's like the 3rd son of the family, but his parents and his 2 older brothers and older sister die, and he's suddenly now the heir to the family fortune. And I'm like, I don't know how he's going to meet Mr. Bingley, because he has to meet Mr. Bingley. I feel like I have to include that in the story. I have no idea how that's going to happen. But that's about as much as I wrote, because I wasn't sure if it was accurate or if it was any good, if this was a concept worth pursuing. So maybe I'll keep writing it, maybe I won't, I don't know. My main writing project this month, January, definitely is going to be 1 Minute Mysteries 2, because the first 1 Minute Mysteries book is selling pretty well. I think it's sold more than any of my other books that are available on Amazon. So, thanks for watching my video. Hope you have a wonderful 2024. I hope it's a lot better than the other years of this decade, because 2020 through 2023 were all pretty terrible years, completely dominated by wars and the coronavirus pandemic. So it's not been a good decade for the planet Earth so far. Hopefully 2024 will be the year that turns things around.